So you come to and you look up. Your eyes take a second to adjust to the harsh lighting. You see that there's this bright white fluorescent light beating down from overhead. You quickly glance around the room, see that you're in some sort of room, and there is a set of stairs behind you that descend down from the ceiling. They look to be attached to some mechanism, and there's a hole in the ceiling above you. You see some mechanical pinions on the sides of the stairs that indicate that it probably extends and retracts. Looking around, you see that the floor is covered in tile, and the room is mostly empty, except for on one wall, you see it covered in different storage cabinets. They appear to be full of medical supplies and equipment. And then there's another large glass cabinet that has different cybernetic implants of various sizes on hanging racks inside. So like an arm, a leg, eyes, a lung, a heart, etc. You then look over and you see a tall white man with shock white hair and a huge grin on his face, standing over what's almost like a dentist chair, but it's a dentist chair with no padding that is made of stainless steel and also has clamps that would go over the wrists and ankles and neck of someone sitting in the chair. And in the chair, there is a figure who is clearly unconscious, and their chest is open, like it's the middle of a surgery. And you see that this man is digging in there with his hand. And he says, "Are you all right over there? You seem to have lost consciousness for a little moment."
Starting off, I look and see what is on my body, what I'm holding.
Sure. So get ready to take some notes to update your character sheet. You take a quick inventory of yourself. You realize that you're not feeling quite at full. You feel a little heaviness on your side, and you realize that there's some gauze bandaging there. You are at 28 health, but you can tell that you have been healing a little bit. So these are not fresh wounds.
Okay. Is it on my left or my right side?
It's on your right side. The bandage is from quarter way towards the left side of your chest and then stretches all the way around your right hand side. So it could be covering multiple things. You're wearing a long trench coat style duster that is made of cybernetic fabric. So it appears to be sort of leather in texture up until someone were to shoot at it, and then it would instantaneously harden to protect. So this is the armor that you're wearing. You see that it has a couple holes poked through it in the chest, right above those areas where the bandage is. Your armor is down to 8 durability. You also pat down your side and your pockets. You feel that your pistol is still in its holster. You see that next to it, you have your agent clipped in. You also reach into your pocket and you see that your money is still there, but the stack is smaller than you remember. You only have 47 euro. You then, while you're looking down, notice 2 crossed straps across your chest and reach up behind you and feel the stocks of 2 assault rifles crossed over your back. And then you finally look down and see the hilt of a knife poking out of your boot. So to reiterate where everything else, you're at 28 health, you have 8 armor, not 11. You don't have the SMG, but do have pistol, knife, and 2 assault rifles.
Is there anything on my head?
No. And then you have 47 euro. I guess there's the cochlear implants and the ocular implants that you already knew you had.
Mm-hmm. Looking, how many stairs am I above the tiled floor?
You were standing on the tile floor.
Looking up, how many stairs is it to the ceiling?
You're 1 floor down, so it's 1 floor's normal amount of stairs. I'm not sure how many that is.
Would you say about 12?
Sure.
And then doing a perception check with the man.
Yeah,
What is he
give me
holding?
roll a perception check.
rolling 1d10. I got a 7.
So 7 plus 3 for perception plus 7 for intelligence, so 17. You see that this man is like, he has his hands deep in this person's chest. You see him pull them out for a second. You see that his hands are slick with blood, but that the tips of his fingers have split open horizontally, and that various surgical tools are poking out of them. So like his pointer finger is a scalpel. His index and middle finger go together to form a pair of like tweezers, that sort of thing. So he has augmented hands that he's using for surgery. Also, as you just wake up in this deeply traumatic place, go ahead and give me a luck check immediately.
4.
4, so you pass. Okay, so that is what you see.
Looking at the man's face, do I have any perception on whether or not he's angry or where his focus is? Is his focus on the body or is the focus on me?
It seems like his focus is primarily on the body. He has this huge grin across his face, but with that roll, you can't necessarily, like you weren't trying to read his expression. You were trying to read what he was doing. But he is talking to you, clearly.
Okay.
He says, yes, are you there? Did you fall back out of it?
I respond, who the fuck are you?
He says, oh, puzzling. I just introduced myself and you do not remember. How did this come about?
No, I don't need your name. I need to know who the fuck you are.
He pulls his hands out of the body, still covered in blood, and he does a big, like a maitre d' style, graceful bow towards you, like one hand across the stomach, one hand out. And he says, well, I am Dr. Laskin. It is a pleasure to see you again, mein Fräulein.
Sal?
Sal? I do not know a Sal. You can roll human perception to try and detect lies if you think he's lying.
Hey, yeah, let's do that. I got an 8.
So that comes out to 21. You get the sense that he does not know anyone named Sal personally. That's not to say that like he's never interacted with anyone named Sal or their paths have never crossed. But he's not close friends with a Sal.
What upgrade is this guy getting? I'm asking to the doctor.
Yeah, so he says, well, when you do enough speed as this one has done, you sometimes need a new organ or two. And he gestures to the wall behind him, and then he walks over and pulls out some sort of oblong shape. It's like an elliptical shaped metal device. You're not sure what it does. You can roll a cyber tech check, which is a skill you don't have, to try to identify it.
Yeah, let's try. Ooh,
okay.
10.
10, so roll again. I assume you're doing the
2.
Like cultural osmosis and not using luck?
Yeah, cultural osmosis. I'll tell you if I'm using luck at any point.
Cool. So that's 16. You recognize that this is some sort of replacement internal organ. You cannot pin down specifically what organ it's supposed to be replacing.
I am going to grab my agent and look at it and see if there are any messages.
As you pull out your agent, you see that it has a flashing light and that you do have one new message.
I'm going to look at the message.
You see that it is a message from yourself. You also see that it is quite long. You probably can't just like read it in the moment with this guy in the room.
Looking at the staircase, what's at the top of the stairs?
You see out the top of the stairs the edge of a wall that looks like it's covered in pills, like cases of pills, pill bottles.
Is there a door anywhere?
You don't see a door from the angle that you are looking at. That doesn't mean there's not a door up there.
I'm going to look back at the doctor and say, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm going to be sick, and then start walking up the stairs quickly.
He says, oh no, don't get sick on my account. You seem like you went down through a lot of efforts to break through my security systems and get down here, but no, please, do whatever you wish.
I'm going to quickly walk up the stairs.
Okay, you walk upstairs. You are in a windowless room that on 4 of the sides are covered in these walls of different pharmaceuticals. Running along the edge of the walls, there's almost a vending machine style mechanical device that can like reach in, grab a pill bottle, and then pulls it over to a pneumatic chute over to the side and drops it in so it can shoot off. You see that you are on the far side of a wall of bulletproof glass. There's basically a door cut out of the, or not cut out of the glass, like a door that's swung out of the glass that were it closed would be indistinguishable from the rest of the glass, but it is still sitting open in front of you. On the other side is a small like square area where people could stand. There's a metal podium which is inert right now, and then on the other side are stairs leading up.
Once I'm at the top of the stairs, I'm going to check my agent again and read the message.
So you're still in the room full of pills?
Yes.
Okay. You pull out your agent and take a quick glance at like the length of this message, and then what do you do?
I look around the room and see if I can see anyone else other
No,
than
you are the only
doctor.
one in this room.
I stop a second and I listen and see if I hear anything.
Give me a perception check.
4.
So that's a total of 14. And 15 because you have your augments. Outside, you hear the faint rumble of many engines.
If I start reading the message, if I hear anything, can I stop?
Sure. As you're sitting there reading your message, go ahead and give me a perception check with a +1 for hearing.
10.
So roll again for the crit.
9.
Damn. Okay.
Really
That gives you a grand total of 30. So you hear with crystal clear audio downstairs a one-sided conversation. It sounds like someone is talking on their agent over the phone. And you hear the following. She is here. No, something went wrong. I installed the parts just like you asked. Have you finished the... Yes, I saw the news. I fail to see how this is my fault. Yes, I understand. All right, but I'm going to need extra compensation for this. No, it was not enough before. Well, why not send someone to take care of it? You have plenty of samurai in your stable. Yes, I can wait. I'll just keep her talking. Alright. Arigato, Shinji-sama. And then the conversation ends.
I am going to stop reading after hearing that phone call, and I am going to, there's another set of stairs, correct, that I can see?
Correct. You can go through the glass door and up that set of stairs. That would be in the direction of the engine noises.
I am going to run through, actually, no. We're going to run down to the doctor again.
As you come down the stairs, you see that he's now standing over the body. The chest has been closed up. The pointer finger on his left hand has a super bright cauterizing torch that's on, and he's slowly tracing it down the sternum of this figure.
I am going to not go all the way down the stairs, but stop when I'm still 6 stairs above the bottom floor, so I still am above.
Are you trying to be stealthy?
No.
Okay.
Just keeping distance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to very quickly ask him, where the fuck is Miles?
What, like, tone are you doing this in? Are you trying to, like, scare him into doing it? So it's more of an interrogation, or are you just trying to like ask?
I was going to be an interrogation.
Okay, then it's an interrogation check.
I rolled a 1.
So roll again a second time.
4.
4. Okay. He turns at you and says, "Oh, you're back. I have never heard of Miles in my life." And go ahead and give me a luck check just based on like that conversation that you heard.
6.
Cool. You pass.
I am then going to run up the stairs again
Okay.
to the pill level.
Mm-hmm.
And can I grab a few of the pill bottles off the wall?
Sure. Yeah. Are you looking for like any specific pills, or are you just like grabbing things?
Things that I can use as door stops.
Okay. Yeah, you can grab any number of pill bottles.
Perfect. I'm going to place a single one where the glass door would close.
Mhm.
We're going to keep that door open. Looking around, are there any other open doors that I've just gone through?
No. So there's the trap door down to this basement where you were. And then there is presumably a door at the top of the stairs, like the second set of stairs towards the engine noises, but you haven't gone up and checked that out.
And then I am going to put so there's one in the trapdoor, blocking the trapdoor from closing all the way.
There is no physical way to do that. It would have to be hanging suspended in midair.
Is it possible to shoot? Tell me more about the mechanism of the trapdoor.
Sure. So I described it as a trap door just to get the sense of like it's a door in the floor. But the actual door mechanism is whatever normally covers this area of the floor of the pill room seems to have like slid and recessed back into a storage area. So there is no like hanging up or hanging down portion of the door. But there is the ladder, which seems to like have extended from a folded up area where it normally would be, mounted in the ceiling underneath the door area that has extended down with its pistons. Where it's touching the linoleum floor under you, it actually touches on a small blue rug.
And you said before that I didn't see any doors down in the pill room. Is that correct?
The only doors you saw in the pill room is the trap door, the door through the glass, and presumably a door at the top of the stairs, like to the engine sounds.
Area. Okay, so there's 3 doors.
Yes. You haven't actually gone up and checked where the engine sound is?
Where is the glass door again? So we
Sorry?
have the trap door.
Yep.
Going down. Where's the glass door?
The pill room is subdivided by this wall of bulletproof glass, and so the glass door is through that wall. You get the sense that like if someone were normally to come into this room for business, they would be stuck in that little portion of the room that is blocked off by the glass, and this area where all the pills are would be off limits.
Looking at the glass door, it's also bulletproof?
Yes, it's made of the same material as the rest of the wall.
What is the mechanism that closes that door?
It appears to be, you can give me a basic tech check to like understand it in detail, but it appears to be some sort of microscopic hinge.
10.
Okay, roll a second time.
7.
Okay, so 21. You can see that there's not actually a hinge there. This glass, or what appears to be glass, actually seems to have at least some amount of carbon nanite microfiber. That means that the glass wall itself actually bends out for this door. And then presumably when the door closes, the mesh of the microfiber like blends together to make the door itself indistinguishable from the wall.
I am going to take one of the pill bottles I just took off the wall and going to place it so the door can't close.
Awesome, you can do that.
And then I am going to run up the second level of stairs to the engine.
Okay, so yeah, there's a door at the top. You go ahead and open it, and you want to open it and step out?
First, I'm sliding one of the pill bottles.
Well, the door is closed.
So we're going to open it a little bit. We're going to slide the pill in to keep it from closing, and then we're going to step out.
You step out onto a sidewalk. You look behind you and see that this clinic is obviously in the basement of the building, and then that means the doctor is in a sub-basement. You say that the actual building behind you is a wreck, and that the whole street that you're on are all wrecks. They're just totally, completely bombed out buildings. It looks a lot like London after the Blitz.
Okay.
Over your head is a green neon cross. To your right, you see a silver neon spoon. To the left, you see the purple frame of a semi-automatic pistol. The building behind you is still standing enough to have multiple stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a mostly hollowed out interior. On the other side of the street, there are the remains of an N-Cart station, which is the Night City subway. The building is somewhat collapsed, and it's been graffitied in this garish yellow and purple color scheme, and the word Shockers has been written on the side. You see that the green sign that would display the name of the station, it says in white letters Juniper, but the NIPER has been spray painted out, and below that has been replaced MPER space CABLE. It says jumper cable. Between you and this station, the road is filled with vehicles. Most prominent among them, in the center of this formation of vehicles, there's the front end of a semi-truck that is pulling a school bus behind it, but the engine block of the school bus has been pulled out of it to convert it into a sort of tractor trailer. On top of this school bus, there appear to be two automatic minigun turrets, and it has lots of flags and pennants that are waving off it. It is surrounded by a motley crew of different cars and trucks, and there are 3 white vans that are close to the center of the formation. There are also a few people on motorcycles that are sort of slowly patrolling rings around this formation of vehicles.
Do I see any signs or any identifying things on the armored vehicle?
You do not.
Looking at the building behind me, there's the door I came through. Are there any other doors?
No. I mean, there is a door. There are doors to the building itself, but the building looks so blasted out, there's probably nothing in there.
Has the armored vehicle brigade seen me yet?
We'll roll a perception check to find out. Yes, one figure sitting in one of the cars of the convoy raises an arm. The sun sort of glints off the hand of it and does a big wave towards you.
I take a step out of the door towards the armored vehicles and see if anyone else notices me.
As you take a step forward, a booming voice echoes down from the top of the building behind you and says, "Has the bounty of the mighty Zeus provided you all that you need? It is now time for you to hold up your end of the bargain." And you look up above you and you see that standing on the top of these ruins are 2 figures. There is a man holding a large sniper rifle. He's wearing small, almost like lacrosse style pads on his shoulders, and they have small spikes on them. His whole outfit is in mottled green camouflage, but it's speckled with yellow and purple. Standing next to him is the figure who spoke. It was a tall, white, bald man who has a cybernetic arm on his right-hand side, and the top quarter right-hand side of his face has all been replaced with cybernetics. The cybernetics are like charred black, and the arm is hanging limply at his side, and the eye in that portion of the head doesn't seem to be functional.
Looking back at the man who waved, or from the person that waved at me from the armored vehicle convoy, has he done anything?
He is not, no. The convoy seems to be like waiting for something.
I start walking towards the convoy slowly.
Yeah, you're able to make your way over to the convoy. You see that the man on top of the building is still looking at you expectantly.
Can he hear me if I'm talking in a regular voice?
Probably not, but you don't know.
Gonna take a risk here. I shout up towards the figure and say, "Lord Zeus, we need but a moment."
Roll a persuasion check for me.
1.
He crosses his hands over his chest and he says, "You've had enough moments. Give me the location, as promised."
I respond, but a moment, and walk towards the armored vehicles.
Okay, as you start walking, you see that all around this formation of vehicles, figures clad in yellow and carrying various weapons, up to and including rocket launchers, just pop up from behind various buildings and pieces of cover, all trained at the convoy.
Well,
And he says, "We had a deal. Do not breach it."
how close am I to the convoy at this point?
You're probably like 10 meters.
It's about 30 feet.
Yeah.
I pull out my pocket agent again and
Okay.
continue to read the messages.
Okay. I'm going to roll a luck check for you just to see how this goes. Okay. Cool. You pass that high stress luck check. You have time to read one message, and you can tell that he's getting more and more irate, like you're running out of time. I will need a persuasion check from you to convince him to give you more time.
I roll a 9.
9. Okay, so that comes out to a 19, which is quite good. So he has his arms crossed, but it looks like he's willing to wait for a second longer.
Oh, mighty Lord Zeus, before we came to you, we were shooting the PLA and shot 3 of them into red vapor. Although it's not as powerful as your great lightning, we hope that you can also rain fire upon them.
You've told me the story. You haven't told me what exactly you did there. Anyone can kill 3 members of their army. They are pitiful weaklings. But where and what did you do that makes them so weak?
Lord Zeus, do you know who Shinji-san is?
Give me a persuasion check.
9 again.
He shakes his head and says, "Do not try to change the subject. But even humoring you, I have not heard of such a person." As you're kind of floundering here, since you don't know where this was, the figure who waved to you earlier, you glance at them. They're sort of eyeing you quizzically, almost like, give me a human perception check to get a read on them.
Yeah. I'm going to roll again because it came out as a 9 again, but it's a 3. I was going to say 3 9s in a row shouldn't happen.
No, I'll count the 9. So you got a 22. You can tell that this figure, they're wearing a scarf over their face, so they can't like talk to you, but their like body language and like reading their eyes seems like they are offering to help with information if you want it.
Lord Zeus, let me speak with my colleague for just a moment so we can get you the best information. Would you prefer I yell it up to you, or would you like me to talk to one of your many disciples?
He says, "Your companion may speak now, that I might hear it." And the figure in the scarf sort of looks at you expectantly.
I gesture towards him, allowing him to take the floor.
Okay. They pull down the scarf and they say, "Well, Zeus, are you familiar with Revolution Square?" And Zeus says, "Of course I am." And he says, "Well, you know how there is a big garage there that the PLA works on all their vehicles?" "Yes, indeed." "Well, I'm afraid your information's out of date. There used to be a garage there, and now it's wide open for the taking." And Zeus nods and says, "Very well. You have fulfilled your end of the bargain. You may pass." And he turns to walk up through the building. The score of yellow-clad people holding weapons pointed at the caravan stand down a little bit, but they are definitely still watching you and have their weapons pointed your way.
I walk towards the figure that gestured at me. and who just spoke, I walk towards them and tell them, like, I don't know what happened, what the fuck happened to me, but I lost my memory. What were we doing here?
He looks at you kind of quizzically and says, well, I was wondering why you weren't. I mean, you seemed all ready to tell Zeus about the heist. I was wondering if you were trying to hold something back, but it looked like you were kind of floundering out there. I hope you didn't mind me doing that.
What do we need to know from Dr. Lasky?
Because I have no idea. You were going in there to talk to him about. I mean, this was sort of your quest. We're just holding up our end of the bargain of the deal with you.
Give me 1 second and keep your guns drawn.
Always do.
I step to the side for a second and I pull out my agent and see who the last person I called was.
Okay. The last person you called was Jessica.
I call Jessica.
The phone rings a couple times and she picks up and she says, Sarah, we're about to do a shoot. What is it?
I need you for a few minutes. I forgot what I'm doing here. What do we need from Dr. Lasky?
I mean, I don't have a few minutes, but I mean, I think you were out there because you thought that he might have been the Ripper doc who put the implants in you. I think that's what you said. You had this whole thing where like he was on vacation and then you figure out he wasn't on vacation. Anything else there? I gotta go.
Jessica, is there anything else I need to know right now?
Right now, I know you keep trying to warn me about the shockers, which is more of a you problem, it sounds like. But otherwise, I'm not sure. You could check our texts. There might be something in there.
Sounds good. I'll call you later.
She hangs up.
How many guards are with this patrol?
It looks like the caravan that you're in has about 30 total people, but some number of the caravan are like children and non-fighters. There's probably like 15 people with weapons in the caravan, but they do have the miniguns on the top of the bus, and at the very front and back of this sort of like, I guess at like 0 degrees and 180 degrees of this wagon circle they've formed up, there are 2 pickup trucks with large guns mounted in the bed.
Okay, I grab 2 of the individuals with guns, and I tell them, follow me.
Give me a persuasion check.
9.
They nod and follow after you. The 2 that follow you, it's 2 figures each carrying shotguns. One man, one woman, both have their heads covered, but they each have a open like bar on their left bicep, not covered. You can see each has a tattoo. One has a tattoo of like a Playboy bunny style rabbit. The other has a tattoo of 2 parallel lines that go the entire way around their arm, and then hash marks that cross those lines, almost like a railroad track.
I tell them to follow me quickly, and we head back towards the door that I held open with the pill bottle that leads down to Dr. Lasky.
Okay. They follow you inside. You see the doors that you propped open are still open.
I have them both jogging behind me as we run down, making sure that when we run down, the doors are still propped.
Okay. Yeah, they're able to do that.
We run back down to the place where I last spoke with Dr. Laskin.
Yeah, you start heading down the stairs and you see that the room is now empty except for the passed out figure is still in the chair. Their chest has now been sewed up.
I stay on the stairs and don't get off the stairs. I go to the bottom step and I look around the room.
Give me a perception check.
2.
Laskin is nowhere to be seen. You walk over and glance at this figure lying on the table. They don't seem to be breathing, but you don't have any like sign of where Laskin went. There are still those shelves like covering that one wall. The other walls are blank, except one has a large poster of like human anatomy on it.
Is there any other furniture in the room with the exception of the metal chair?
No.
I run, telling the men to follow me back up to the pill room.
Mm-hmm. You're there.
I take a look around that room and see if anything has changed.
Perception check.
5.
It doesn't look like anything has.
I look at the man who, one of the armored guards who followed me down, and ask them, "Do you know who Shinji-san is?"
Both of them shake their heads no.
Is there any sort of Japanese focused group that we need to be worried about right now?
They say, I don't really know about what's happening in your fight. I mean, you just sort of came across us in our plight in PLA territory, but after that, I'm not sure what your plan is. I know you were going to go. We were supposed to take you to downtown, so like the Biotechnica building, but they're not Japanese.
Let's get the fuck out of here then. This has been a wash. I run back up the stairs back to the armored vehicle and the envoy.
Mm-hmm.
Opening the door, what do I see?
Pretty much the same scene. There's still kind of this standoff between the two groups, but no one has like shot or anything.
I shout back up, "Lord Zeus, are you there?"
You get no response.
And then I shout to our armored envoy, "It's time for us to get the heck out of here."
A woman on a red motorcycle nods to you, and she starts leading the convoy down the street. You hop into a car driven by the man that you talked to earlier who helped you out. The convoy sort of snakes back out. As you're on your way, you see that there's these yellow clad figures like all around, carefully watching but not attacking. Eventually you pull out onto an old highway, like you go up an on-ramp and you drive onto this blasted highway, and the convoy is able to start picking up speed. Eventually your car starts to peel off to the side, and you get an off-ramp headed towards the skyscrapers of the corporate center of Night City.
As we're driving, I'm going to take out my...
Do you want to read the rest of the messages?
First, I want to read the messages from Jessica.
Awesome. You look and you see you have a series of messages from Jessica from over the last couple days. Primarily what they say is that a few days ago there was an explosion at the Biotechnica building downtown that NCN, Night City News, was reporting on.
Mm-hmm.
She saw that and said that it might be important information for you because she remembered that you had told her about the job that was Miles' last net running job had something to do with Biotechnica. And then the next day, there's a message that says that the corporations are trying to like cover up this news and hush it up. And then there's one more message that's just like checking in.
I am going to grab my phone and I'm going to write a note.
Okay, so you type out a new note to yourself and then just take a second to like collect yourself, calm down, go over what you've learned. Go ahead and give me a luck check. You're sort of coming down from like the adrenaline high.
I roll an 8.
Okay, you pass. Next time you need to beat a 14. But you are in the car. Do you want to do anything on the way to downtown other than write a note?
Yes, I am also going to go back and look at the messages I wrote myself again. Just refresh myself.
Okay.
With my local knowledge, about how long is the drive from Dr. Laskin's?
Get there probably in about, let me roll a driving check for this guy because the area of the city that you're going through, the roads are like completely torn up and blasted. But he weaves through them fairly expertly. So it's going to take you about 20 minutes to get there.
First, I ask someone who is in the armored vehicle with me which one is Ma?
So the only one with you in this car, it's like a 2-seater convertible, is the man who helped you earlier.
I ask him, which one's Ma?
Oh, Ma was, I get it. You know, we've all have these face scarves on. It's kind of hard. She was the one on the red motorcycle leading the whole caravan.
And what is the family working towards right now?
I think at this point, it's getting out of Night City. We were stuck there, but you helped us out of that jam. So now I think it's go find a new place to stay a bit, somewhere up in NorCal maybe.
Why do you want to get out of Night City?
We didn't want to be in Night City in the first place. Our place is out on the open road.
If I'm trying to find my boyfriend, any suggestions?
Well, I mean, what sort of person is he? Have you checked around his vices, seen if he's ended up, if he's like an addict, did he wind up in a, alley somewhere? Or I don't know. Are things going okay in your relationship? Are you sure that this is an unintentional disappearance?
He's a net runner.
He frowns and says, well, then, in a dangerous line of work like that, his time may have just come. Someone may have snatched him up off the street. Do you know where you last saw him?
Yeah, we were getting implants at, I don't even remember where, some doctor he knew.
And he was there, and then they put you under, and when you woke up, he wasn't?
Yeah. Have you heard about anything like this?
I mean, that sounds like textbook kidnapping, but I mean, if someone was willing to spend the money to put you under, and also, did you actually get the augs you came in for?
Perception check.
You did. You went in for the ocular and cochlear implants.
Okay. Yeah, yes, I did.
I mean, those don't come cheap, so someone must have been willing to blow a lot of money on this scheme for a cover, right?
We paid for them, at least discounted.
Well, where'd the money for that come from?
One of his jobs.
His jobs? I thought you said he's a net runner, or?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that checks out. Maybe so out of character, you know that Miles is no longer a net runner. So you were intentionally lying?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is Miles? We were just working odd jobs, right?
Miles was working in IT at LMZ.
Okay.
But he got a bonus,
Okay.
which is what allowed you to afford this stuff. Roll a persuasion check for me.
7.
So you have a 17, and Clyde got a 16, so he does not detect your lie. He rolled very well, but he says, I mean, you come out stealing a bunch of a person's money as a net runner, they're probably not going to be happy, right?
Fair.
And depending on who you steal from, you run on a corpo, get on a corpo's bad side, they've got the resources to come back and take you out.
If someone was working at LMZ, who would want to kidnap them?
I'm going to roll local expert to see if Clyde even knows what LMZ is.
Shit.
He frowns and says, I mean, do you think he stole from LMZ? They're a pretty well-off company. It sounds like their GMOs are doing pretty well, but
GMOs?
genetically modified organisms,
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
like designer plants.
Didn't know that term.
Says, yeah, no worries. But do you think? So you think he stole from LMZ? That's where the money came from, or
I don't think so.
you think he stole from someone else for LMZ?
That's a good point, Clyde.
Because then a different person would want to get him, right?
Yeah. Who knows? Have you ever been in love?
He gets a wistful look in his eyes and then just says no. But before you change the subject, he does mention that, I mean, pretty much every corpo has some sort of wet work head, someone who is in charge of all of their samurai, out to get whoever's wronged them. They always have some crazy title like VP of containment or like CFO of product acquisition. It's all sort of, veiled language, but none of them are nice folks. That might be the person to talk to if you can get an audience and if you wanted to actually talk to them and get on their bad side.
And where is LMZ located? Do you know?
Do you want to give me a check to see if you know first before you ask?
Sure.
Roll local expert.
I got 5.
You know exactly which end cart stop it's off. because Miles has told you like how he gets to work.
Which
So
end cart stop is it?
One of the like far suburban stops. You'll be able to get there if you would like.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to do in the car before it pulls up downtown?
Yeah, I would like to ask Clyde if he knows what love is.
Roll human perception.
6.
He tells you no, but you can tell the answer is yes. I'm also, just as you're sort of sitting here in the car, like having this deep conversation, go ahead and give me another luck check.
4.
Pangs of guilt that you haven't been able to help Miles yet. That is your first strike.
Okay.
Anything else in the car?
Let's pull up my phone and see if there's and the access point, and see if there's anything else I can see on the access point.
So if you want to like access a data term, you're going to have to stop, get out of the car, plug your agent into a data term.
Nope, just looking at my agent and seeing if there's any other like voicemails or anything, just making sure there wasn't anything I missed.
No, you have seen everything there is to see on the agent.
Perfect. Let's go downtown.
Okay, so you are driving, coming in from the suburbs, and you can tell when you're starting to approach downtown because the like smoggy haze of the night takes on some purple and like light blue hue as the reflected light from downtown is like piercing through the smog. The streets are starting to get much higher quality. They're no longer quite so blasted. And every so often, an aerodyne will like fly overhead and you're joining lines of ground traffic.
Downtown was nuked, wasn't it?
So there is a new downtown that's like under construction.
Where we're headed?
Yes. You probably
Okay.
do not want to go to the old downtown.
I was going to figure out if we needed any Fallout gear.
Yes, you would if you wanted to go to old downtown. And so you weave through traffic. You see various vehicles like flying over your head. There's neon signs everywhere advertising different products. There's sort of a garish display of sound and light. You drive by what looks like some sort of market down an alleyway that it's like all sorts of cloth stalls that have Asian New Year style lanterns like hanging from the roofs with an intimidating figure that's like standing cross-armed at the front of the alleyway. You keep driving farther in, and as you drive into the more corporate area of downtown, the pedestrians thin out. The people you do see are all wearing like sleek, tailored suits and dresses. The cyberware that you see is much more elegant and less noticeable. There's no shiny metal arm. It's people with just like expertly done plastic surgery. And you see one woman walking down the street, arm in arm with another woman in a bright red dress, high heels, and she has like cat ears on the top of her head in addition to normal ears and has a tail that's like snaking out of the bottom of the dress. You wind through this area and eventually you arrive at a giant tower. The tower has a sign in front of it that looks like 3 leaves off of a single vine and says Biotechnica. So you see this sign and you look up and you see one portion of the building, like a good ways up the side, is slightly shinier and newer than the surrounding area. The surrounding area, in like a circle around it, has a slight black sootiness, but any other damage from the explosion has clearly been repaired. And Clyde looks at you and says, "It's been a pleasure. Good luck finding your boyfriend."
Thanks, Clyde. I hope you find love.
He frowns, but you can see that like his eyes are smiling, pulls the scarf back over his face and turns the car around and starts heading the other way.
I look around beyond the Biotechnica building. What other buildings surround me?
Nearby, you see several other corporate buildings. You see one for a corporation called Militech. You see one smaller one for Arasaka. You see one that says TET-IK, TET-IK, and below it has some kanji. And you see another that says Kiroshi, Kiroshi. And you see one that says NCN, Night City News. This is just like the
I
block that you're on.
Yeah, I take out my agent and I text Jessica. I'm in the neighborhood if you have a free moment.
You get a reply that asks, "What are you doing downtown?"
And I respond back, checking out the explosion.
She sends back a message that says, "Be careful, down in 10."
I then look around and see what other people in the street are wearing.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
4.
So that comes to 14. So you look around, you see that the people who are walking around are all clearly corpo people. They're wearing various suits and ties, long dresses, pantsuits. These are people who are here to work for the most part.
I am going to button up my trench coat if it's not currently buttoned up, just so I blend in a little bit better.
Sure, yeah, you got it. You still definitely like stand out compared to these people, but you look like less of a ruffian than you actually are.
I also push the knife a little bit deeper so it hides a little bit better in my shoe.
Awesome. You got it. So to tuck it like under your pant leg. And
Mm-hmm.
you do still have 2 assault rifles on your back.
How much do the assault rifles extend beyond the space of my back?
They are, so out of fiction, they are like modern AK-47 size.
So can I hide them underneath the trench coat?
Not well, probably, but you can try.
Can I hide one of them under the trench coat convincingly?
Almost certainly not both. 1 would be hard, 2 would be virtually impossible.
We'll leave the guns out. It'll be fine.
Okay, you're just gonna like hide them in an alley?
No. We're keeping them on the back.
Okay, you're just gonna sort of Lone Ranger your way through downtown. You are drawing some looks.
That's fine. I look around and see if there's any construction crew, any street maintenance worker, anything like that.
You see that there are some construction people, like walking down the street headed a few blocks down, but you also know that there's a ton of construction happening in this area in general. So a construction crew would not necessarily be like for this explosion, but it could be.
I am going to go walk towards the Biotechnica building. I'm just going to walk around the block and see if I see anything interesting.
Okay. You make it halfway around the building when 2 figures stop you. They're wearing black plastic body armor and wearing black helmets that fully cover their heads and have some sort of voice modulator on them. They have the Biotechnica logo on their lapel, and they are both holding large and expensive looking assault rifles. They approach you and go, "Halt, citizen.
Howdy, gentlemen.
What is your purpose here at the Biotechnica compound?"
Oh, I'm meeting my friend. She works over at NCN and just going for a walk and was looking at things. I don't get down, as you can tell, I don't get downtown much at all. And so just wanted to come look around and see all these funny people in suits. Have you
Give,
seen the suits they're wearing these days?
give me a conversation check.
8.
They sort of relax a little bit when you say this, and they say, "And what is the cause to have 2 large caliber firearms strapped to your back?"
Do you know the men in this city? This is the only way I'm getting any space and any respect at all. Hey, it's in your guts, right? People listen to you. People care. People don't mess with you.
People do not mess with us because we have the authority of Biotechnica behind us.
That's
You are some
also
dreck off the street.
I prefer dredge, but yeah. um, but going back, so this is Biotechnica. I haven't even heard of this company. There's so many.
Give me a persuasion check.
9.
They say, "There are guided tours during daytime hours beginning at 9 a.m. Firearms not allowed."
Wait, can you give me a guided tour?
Negative.
Oh, I bet you'd be a great tour guide.
Give me a persuasion check. This will be incredibly difficult to succeed at.
Holy
Did you crit?
God.
What'd you get?
I got a 10. I'm
A
gonna roll
10.
again.
Okay, roll again.
5.
So that is a grand total of 25.
Am I gonna get my tour?
I'm going to roll will checks for them. The first guard shakes their head, and the second guard, they click a switch on the side of their helmet, and then they say, and the voice modulator is turned off, look, the premium VIP guided tour doesn't come free. Now, if you want to throw, 40 euro my way, maybe I could take you around, see some of the security areas and some of the areas I have access to.
Out of game, we have 40 euro left. You just really don't want to give me a tour, do you? Speaking to the guard, again, being like, oh, I'm not sure I have that much money, but does it have to be 40 euro?
Persuasion check.
This one's also going to be incredibly hard.
It won't be as hard.
I got 9.
God damn it. The other one was virtually impossible. You just happened to succeed it with your 25.
This just makes up for all the bad rolls I got earlier when I was trying to do perception and persuasion.
So this guard says, look, someone finds out about this, I lose my job. So lowest I can go is 35. And even then, you need to keep your trap shut and stay quiet. And you can't take the guns with you. At least not the giant fucking ones on your back.
What if I put them under my coat? No one will be able to tell.
All right, let's see your under the coat disguise.
I take off the coat, put the guns under the coat.
Roll stealth, which is a skill you do not have.
It's a 1.
He takes one look at your guns under the coat and goes, no. In fact, price is back up to 40. It is clear that you cannot be stealthy.
Will you still be here in like 20 minutes? I have to go meet my friend. I told her we'd hang out for a bit. You know how it is, but then.
He says, my shift ends at 1, and you know that it is about 12:30 right now.
I have half an hour before you take off.
It's also been like about 5 to 7 minutes in terms of like waiting to meet Jessica.
Okay, I will be right back. Y'all are actually one last question. So I might not get to do this tour because you're very expensive, but like if you could give me just like a couple of cool things about this company because I like your little leaf design that I see on the building.
He says, well, again, I'm not really, you realize I'm not like actually a regular tour guide, right? We kind of.
I thought you were the VIP. I thought you were the best. You're the VIP tour guide, right?
You get the sense that if you could see through the visor, there would be the biggest glare looking at you, and also just this quizzical feeling like, okay, so is she just deeply incompetent? Like, is that what this is? Because, look, I mean, everyone knows Biotechnica, like pharmaceuticals, chew, like they do it all.
Why is your building under construction? Everything seems so nice.
Look, some questions are better saved for the guided tour.
Wait, construction's a secret?
Doesn't say anything back.
Are you building a super secret, top secret lab?
Price has gone up, 45 now.
Well, it's nice chatting with you. Maybe I'll see you in just a couple with that 45 so we can go on that tour. Because that sounds just like a hoot and a holler.
Clicks on the switch on the helmet and goes, move along, citizen.
Thanks, have a good one. And then I turn and I look behind me, see if anything's changed significantly since I've been talking with these men.
No, pretty much still the same.
And then I go back to meet Jessica.
Okay, you run into Jessica. She's looking a little bit frazzled, as she always does. She's wearing a gray pantsuit for work, and she has sort of that like heavy stage makeup on. And she sees you coming up. She gives you a hug, first of all. And then she says, Sarah, it's so good to see you. I was worried about you.
Jessica, I lost my mind. I lost my memory again. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
Fuck. Well, you haven't been home for 3 days, which part of why I was worried about you, but I knew you were alive because we've been texting.
Also, I got the guys from Biotechnica might give me a tour for €45. It's a whole deal. I don't even know.
I mean, that's a pretty good in, right? Like I said, I don't know if this Biotechnica thing is useful or not, but maybe. Did
Okay,
Miles
so
ever tell you anything more about like what his thing had to do with Biotechnica?
not really.
Hmm.
Not that I remember. Pause, out of game. Do I remember anything else?
You do not.
That's what I thought. Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Okay, going back. No, he
She
didn't.
she says, I mean, like you just think about the options of what that means, right? Like did he work for them off the books? Did he, do a job against them? And if he did, who would he have been working for? Have you heard of have you come across any other clues on the way?
Not really. Dr. Laskin was awash and then he ran away. He sent Shinjin Sama after me,
Mm.
but I don't even know who that is. Love running from people.
Shinji Sama. I'm gonna roll local expert for her. She says, I mean, Sama is an honorific, right?
Yeah, it's Japanese.
So whoever whoever he was talking to would have been like probably some Japanese person, and presumably like higher up than him, right? In whatever's happening.
Yeah. I don't even know
So
where does Laskin work for? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, he has that. I looked into that news story I told you that we did on him. It sounded like he was running some sort of medicine drive out of his clinic is why we did it. But his smile is always what stuck with me. It was pretty creepy.
yeah, I ran into that.
But I mean, you could always like try and find a list of like executives or something. Maybe that would lead you to whoever hired this Laskin guy. But I guess you'd need to figure out what company they worked for first.
Right? Oh my goodness, this is such a shit show. Just like Miles to get himself in this trouble.
As the frustration mounts, give me another luck check.
8.
You pass. So still one strike. You need to get 16 next time.
Oof.
And she says, it sounds like Biotechnica is a good in if you can find some way into their systems, right? Because at the very least, maybe there's some record of the job that he did. That could be a lead that Miles did. Or, I don't know, maybe this Shinji guy works for Biotechnica.
That's a good start.
But you can't hack, right? You don't have the AUGs.
No. But I could check. It's been a while since I've checked a data term, and
Yeah, I mean, you might want to see.
maybe I'll go on a tour, see if I can hire someone.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might need to hire some help here.
Any idea where I'd find someone who could hack?
Give me just roll plus intelligence. I want to see if you remember.
2 plus.
It's a 9 total. So no, you don't remember anyone you saw earlier that was a net runner. You could always try just like putting out a posting on a data term and see who shows up, but you're going to need to wait, and they might not actually be particularly competent or might be very expensive. I'm going to roll local connections for her to see if she knows anyone. She shakes her head and says, I mean, like, maybe you could convince one of Miles's coworkers to help you?
Don't really know any of them.
Because he, like, presumably there's people who know about tech over in the IT department there, right? Or
Hmm.
maybe you could, maybe there's someone in, like, the NCN back room that would be willing to do it off the books.
Hmm.
Because I
Can
don't,
you look into that for me and see if you can text me if you find anyone?
yeah, I mean, I can give it a shot. You're theoretically trying to go up against, you're kicking a real big anthill here. So you're going to have to pay a good amount to get someone to go in for this, or owe them a very big favor.
We'll figure it out. Okay, I should get going, but I love you lots. Big hug.
She hugs you back and says, "Love you too." And she heads back up into the NCN building.
I go and look around and see if there is a data term anywhere.
Yeah, there's one on the corner. It looks like sleek and brand new.
I go up to the data term.
You walk up to it, you plug your agent into the port to serve as an interface, and the little holographic figure of Jeeves pops up. He looks like a tiny Victorian butler. And he says, "Hello, madam. How may I help you?"
Hi, I want to learn more about Biotechnica because I'm right outside it and it seems kind of cool.
"One moment, accessing local corporation records." And he tells you that Biotechnica is one of the larger corporations in the city. It is primarily a pharmaceutical corporation, but it is most famous for being the original creator of a strain of wheat called T. vulgaris megasuavis, which you do not need to write down. But they're famous for creating the synthetic strand of grain from which the ethanol fuel that cars now run on is derived. So that's like their primary source of profit,
Okay.
but they also just deal in like general pharmaceuticals and genetic engineering stuff.
I ask Jeeves, do they have a board of directors or anything? Like, who runs this?
Yes, they do have a board. It's a board of 7, and then they have a CEO. And Jeeves gives you the names of the board and CEO. The names of the board are Cecilia McGrath, Charity Fuentes, Fuentes, Renesmee Sawyer, Renesmee, Elias Kinney, Elspeth Snyder, Wallace Stamp, and Jamie Crossley. And the CEO is named Casper Hodson.
Hodson?
Correct. Hodson.
Mm-hmm. And if I want to take a tour, when can I take a tour?
He informs you the same thing that the guard told you, that there are tours during daylight hours starting at 9 in the morning.
Looking in my wallet, I have 40 euros, correct?
You have 47 euro.
Cool. I ask if they know anything about LMZ.
He scans through. So this data term is in a nice enough area that it does just have sort of like a general knowledge repository. So even though LMZ's facility is not downtown, you can still glean some info. So LMZ is a firm based out of Shanghai. LMZ stands for Lu Muzhi,
How do you spell that?
Lumuzhi.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry.
Sure.
I don't speak Mandarin and you do. But they are another GMO firm. Their primary focus is creating synthetic crops. Global warming has certainly been a thing in this timeline, and there's been a second dust bowl across the US. LMZ's claim to fame was building hardier strains of rice, but also started developing like wheat and barley and other grains. And they've come over to the US and are expanding their market with synthetic strains of grain products.
Jeez, how far am I from home right now?
You pull up a map of Night City that's on this data term. You see that you could potentially make it back home in like, it would take about a couple hours to get there between like walking to the nearest N-Cart station, taking the N-Cart, and then walking from the station to your apartment.
I ask if Jeeves knows the board members of LMZ.
Jeeves looks through and sees that the board is all over in Shanghai. Basically, all the leadership is over there, but the local branch head here in Night City is named Molly Huang. I can give you the names of the actual board and CEO if you would want them to.
Is anyone Shinjin-san?
No, none of them are named Shinji.
That's what I care about. Looking at the other large corporations in the area, do any of them have an executive named Shinji-san? I am talking about Militech. Ooh, let's start with Tetic.
Tetic. You see that the full name of this corporation is Tetsuo Ikimonogaku, or Tetic for short. You scan through. Give me a intelligence check with a +2 because Jeeves is helping you for this research. Because there is no Shinji on their board or CEO. 7. That's with the plus?
No, 9 with the plus.
Okay, so this is an education check, so it's 10, 17, 19. You dig a little deeper into the local news stories and stuff. Jeeves helps you do a big scan of what's on there. You see that there is a VP of acquisitions named Shinji Tetsuo, or Tetsuo Shinji.
VP of acquisitions?
Mm-hmm.
And that's at Tetic. How about Hiroshi?
Hiroshi.
Just checking the board there too, seeing if they have a VP of acquisitions.
You don't see any Shinjis at Hiroshi.
Perfect. Militech, as long as we have one more that we haven't done yet.
Militech.
Let's do NCN too. We're just covering our bases. We're doing lots of research.
You do not see anyone at Militech. At NCN, you see there is one board member named Shinji Tokugama.
And what was the Shinji at Tetic?
Shinji Tetsuo. And the full name of Tetic is Tetsuo Ikimonogaku. And the last one you haven't checked is Arasaka.
Yep. And how about Tetic? What's the last name there for the Shinji?
Tetsuo.
Okay. And then we're going to check the last one.
Give me another research check. I guess it's another education check.
3, and then I get +2 because of Jeeves, right? So
correct.
5.
So 15. You see that in news stories about Arasaka, a Shinji Tetsuo or Tetsuo Shinji is also mentioned, but you can't piece together how that connection is, whether it's the same person or different people.
And which company was that again?
Arasaka.
Learning more about who's after us.
I'm also going to need a perception check from you.
Shit. 8.
Okay. As you're going through this data term, you see a figure in the distance in a leather jacket walks around a corner into an alleyway and does not come out.
I'm going to step out of the booth now.
It's not actually a booth, but yes, you can step away from the data term.
Which buildings abut the alley?
It is between the Militech building and the Tetic building.
We're going to cross the street, so I'm a far side. So if the alley is here, I'm on the far side of the street, but you can look down the alley.
Okay.
And we're going to look down the alley.
Give me another perception check.
4.
You don't see where this person went down the alley. You peek around and they've vanished.
I'm going to take out my agent again, and we're going to write a note quickly.
Okay. So you pull out your agent and quickly thumb a new message to yourself, and then I'm going to need another perception check from you.
8.
And this person, again, you do not see anyone in this alleyway until, in a flash, someone is directly in front of you, and they are swinging a katana down towards you. Go ahead and roll evasion.
9.
All right. You duck back out of the way as this sword slashes down. You see that there's this figure holding the katana in front of you. It's that man with the leather jacket. It has like a high collar up by the sides of their face, and on their face you see a look of grim determination. But as you dodge out of the way, they are immediately going to start sprinting the other direction. Do you want to chase after them, or do you want to let them run?
We're going to jog after them.
Okay, so do a move check. So roll plus move.
13.
Okay. This person sprints down the alleyway, manages to get a bit of a lead on you, and ducks around the corner. Okay, you can go ahead and roll perception when you come around the corner to spot them.
I am not going to go down the alley.
Okay, so they disappear around the corner at the end of the alley. You are now in the alleyway.
Did they turn to the left towards the Tetic building or to the right towards the Militech? Or you can tell me which is left or right.
They turned towards the Tetic building, which is left.
Cool. I'm going to take out my phone really quickly. I'm going to send Jessica a quick text message.
Okay, what do you tell her?
Think Tetic Corp is after me. Being careful.
All right, what do you do next?
We're going to walk around the front of the building.
Okay. Also, as the sort of like high of this encounter comes away, give me another luck check.
3.
3.
Fail
All right,
that.
2 strikes. You're standing in front of the Tet-Ik building. There is sort of a small, like, short concrete wall surrounding it on all sides, so you can't just like walk up to it right off the street. And there are guards in maroon and gray uniforms. Those same sort of almost stormtrooper-esque synthetic plastic uniforms.
Are they identical to the gentleman that I talked to outside of the Biotechnica?
Functionally, they're very similar in uniform,
Okay.
just different color.
I go up to one, the one closest to me.
Okay. They stand in front of you and say, "Yes, citizen."
Hi, do you all do tours? I'm a tourist.
They're going to take a look at you, and your assault rifle's slung on your back, and they say, "Tours are offered between the hours of 9 and 5 on weekdays."
Do you all ever give tours? I feel like you all would be good at tours.
No, we provide security for the facility.
Huh. So, question for you all then. What's the best corporation out of the ones around here?
This figure echoes your question to the other guards, asks them what the best corporation is, and they all like chant back in unison the full name of Tet-Ik.
Whoa, you all said at the same time. How'd you do that?
The guard says, "Practice." And there's like a hint of pride.
Oh my goodness, that's so incredible. Okay, so this is the best corporation. And so like I'm gonna go on tour, but I just want to learn a little bit right now to get me excited about the tour because this seems pretty cool. But what does Tactic? How do you say it? What do you all do? Are they another like cyborg company? Because that technology is crazy. You should see the implants I got.
Give me another conversation check.
7.
They say, "Our primary line of business is our pharmaceutical lab."
Cool, so you save lives.
Indeed.
That's pretty rad. That's cool being the coolest corporation and you get to save, or the best corporation and you get to save lives. And then you're
The
out
guard's
here,
like chest kind of puffs up a little bit.
and then you get to be the dude out here like protecting the people, saving lives. Although, what do you need to protect them from?
As you ask this question, the guard gets on edge a little bit. It's like, "Well, you know quite well the sort of things that we need protection from."
That's a good point. I carry around these 2 guns. You probably see them right now, but they're just.
Yeah,
You
that's
never know
part
what
of why you're not allowed to enter this facility right now.
Oh, that's okay. I can wait till the guided tour. But you
Just
never
so you know,
know.
you also cannot bring the guns on the guided tour.
Oh, I can't bring but I bring the guns everywhere.
I'm afraid it's simply not going to be a possibility.
What if I hide them? I can show you how I fit them under my trench coat.
That actually makes it worse.
Oh, okay. Because they stick up and they kind of look like a weird turtle. You sure you don't want to see me look like a turtle?
I'm quite sure.
Okay. So if I'm gonna go on tours of anywhere else, like, okay, so I'm gonna for sure come back. I won't bring the guns, I promise. You never know. It's a scary world out there, and that's why I carry the guns, because like people don't bother you when you have guns. You probably know that. I see your gun. You have a pretty cool gun too. But okay, so I'm gonna look at Tetic and like gonna come for a tour. But if there's like a tactic competitor or someone else I should check out to get like both sides of the spectrum, who should I go check out?
Give me another conversation check.
9.
Well, you could always check out our parent company, Arasaka. But I definitely wouldn't go check out those bastards over there at Biotechnica.
Yeah, do you see that they have this crazy construction project going on, and they won't like? I don't know what's happening there. Why would you put a beautiful building under construction that you just built?
This guy looks at you and, how did you know about the construction project? There's no construction going on right now.
You can see it.
I don't see any scaffolding or anything.
There's all the construction dudes walking around, and like I haven't done their tour yet, but I was thinking about it, and it was just something that it's on the agents. If you do the data points.
This Night
Sorry,
City is under a construction boom.
It's crazy, especially after I heard what happened with the Fallout Zone.
Yes, we've all heard about the the corporate war.
What a time to be alive.
Yup. What a time to be alive.
That's corporate war, baby.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate your time. You seem lovely. I'll be back tomorrow. And like, thank you for helping. That's super kind of you.
Just
Take
doing my
care,
job,
sir.
ma'am.
Ooh, can I get
Yeah,
a
he does a salute back to you.
cheerio?
Does not repeat the cheerio.
And I turn around and walk away and figure out what the heck I'm gonna do next.
Okay. Yep, you are on the street.
We're gonna make another text to Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna say that Eros is the parent company of Tetic.
Arasaka is parent co of Tetic. Got it?
And then we are going to go down the alley.
Okay. Do you walk all the way to the end of the alley or just like part way down?
Nope, I go about 1/10 of the way down. So just a little bit, like get in the alley and see if I can see anything. So we're going to look around once I'm in the alley.
Give me a perception check.
It's a 1.
So you walk a short way down the alley,
mm-hmm.
and then give me just one more perception check.
2.
You hear just a faint like noise, and then I'm gonna roll, and a spatter of concrete like kicks up by your foot. You feel shards of concrete hit your leg. You're not injured, but like you feel them bounce off. You glance down and see the impact of a bullet in the ground. Give me a luck check.
3.
All right, and with that, your head goes fuzzy, falls forward for a second, and your time as Sarah is over.